This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth with breaking news. A U.S. document has been leaked that would suggest that Israel is planning on attacking Iran potentially any day now. Meanwhile, North Korean troops are readying to position themselves in Ukraine to fight on behalf of Russia. While all this is going on, we've been seeing record-setting highs in the precious metal space with gold and silver hitting all-time highs. And as I've been saying for the last couple of years, that should be a red flag, a bit of a warning sign about what we see that is potentially coming down the pike. And speaking of that, there is a forecaster who is projecting that the Russian-Ukraine conflict could spark World War III and lead to the end of the Republic by the year 2032. Now, I don't normally put a lot of attention into people who make predictions about what may or may not happen in the future, but in this particular case, this guy has a very interesting track record, and I think it warrants paying close attention to. So there's a lot to uncover in this video, so let's just jump into it, guys. This U.S. intelligence document leak has just come out suggesting that Israel's planning on attacking Iran. Now, obviously, that's not like huge breaking news. We've all known that Israel is going to retaliate against Iran for what they did last month. And obviously, that in and of itself was a retaliation for a retaliation for a retaliation. You know, it's a lot of back and forth happening. But the U.S. intelligence leak is suggesting that this may potentially be happening any day now. And obviously, this would be a major escalation in the war in the Middle East. Some people think this may be leaked from within the U.S. intelligence communities themselves, some, rogue hero trying to stop the war. I doubt that's the case. Some people think maybe the Iranians hacked into the U.S. intelligence networks. I don't think that's necessarily the case either. It is possible that Israel released this information on themselves so as to kind of throw the Iranians off track here, and to get them to look to all the wrong places for where they may soon be attacked. Or, of course, there could something, much larger be playing geopolitically in terms of, NATO and the Five Eyes intelligence allies releasing this information. At any rate, it's out there now that something is coming down the pike. And obviously, this is, I think, why a lot of the central banks around the world have been buying up gold and silver at record amounts. Like, this is why we're seeing all-time highs right now. And as I said, amidst these, tensions, you've got North Korean troops talking about going to Ukraine to fight on behalf of the Russians. And Zelensky has just said that if this happens, this will be the biggest move towards a global conflict that we've seen since, this war essentially broke out. So major things are brewing. And it's really interesting that as I'm seeing what's happening in the gold space, what's happening in the Middle East, what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, I learned about this guy named Martin Armstrong, who was noticing boom and bust cycles, and he was recognizing certain patterns, after just reading the news cycles and seeing certain patterns with boom and bust cycles that are happening in different sectors, right? And he's like, there's a pattern here. And he thought, wait a minute, what if I put all of this information into a computer program, and maybe I could get it to predict which hedge funds I should invest in, and what kind of stock picks I should make, because, like there's these patterns here that it can recognize in boom and bust cycles. So he was originally setting out to get rich, essentially. But something interesting happened with his computer model. It turns out when you follow the money, it leads to some very interesting places. Turns out his computer program was not really so good at telling him what stocks to pick, but it was very good at telling him and predicting global conflicts and which countries were about to see global conflict. In fact, he ended up using this computer program to successfully predict the 1989 crash in Japan with their housing market crash, and then also the Russian economy crashing in 1998. It successfully predicted. And around the time that it was doing this, he was being contacted by high-level officials. The CIA was contacting him. Everybody wanted to know about this, machine that he built that is essentially predicting world wars and getting it right. So this man who has this track record has just chimed up again into the news because of the talk about North Korean troops potentially entering Ukraine to fight on behalf of Russia, because now the computer model is predicting that the Ukraine-Russian conflict is going to trigger the powder keg moment that's going to kick off World War III. He says it's going to happen any day now. It's going to lead to a major world war in 2027. And then the computer program predicts that it will lead to the end of the U.S. Republic by the year 2032. Now, interestingly enough, the year 2032 is not based on the economic models that it's been following or the recent news, but it's actually based on a 300-year cycle that the computer program has picked up on. So I've been, monitoring the news and reading all the headlines for all this time as well, and I kind of feel like I'm like this computer program because I'm feeling and sensing the exact same things. I've been saying that, seeing how all these central banks are buying up gold in the last couple of years, like it was only $1,900 4 or 5 years ago. It was like that since 2012, and it stayed like that all the way up to 2018 or 2019. It's only in the last few years that it's gone from 1,900 to, what is it today, 2,700. You've got silver up to 33. Again, this should be red flags and telltale signs that they are preparing for something major. And then you get all this talk about, Israel planning to attack Iran, Ukraine and Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and Russia getting together to take on NATO. This is huge. So, in the midst of all this, I come across this guy, Martin Armstrong, who successfully predicted global conflicts, and his computer AI model is suggesting that it's all gonna go down real soon. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, guys. If you too have been paying attention to the markets, you're probably sensing the same things that this computer program is also sensing, that troubling times are coming down the pike. And obviously this is all happening in the lead up to the 2024 selection, obviously, man, the whole world is just being primed for some major instability. Honestly, in the U.S., it doesn't even matter at this stage in the game if it's Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. Either way, the entire country is going to be completely divided. You've got the Russia-Ukraine situation. You've got the Middle East about to go into all-out war. You've got the central banks preparing for all of this by buying gold. And you've got this computer program that successfully predicted this stuff, saying it's coming right around the pike any day now. So the time to get prepared is now. Guys, if you haven't gotten your assets out of the dollar, out of the bank, and into something like gold and silver, you're falling behind. If you are not yet in the position of being able to grow your own food and not having to rely on the grocery stores, then you're also falling behind. And if you're still relying on the government or the banks in any way to help you out of any sort of upcoming calamities that we know are coming, you're falling behind. I hate to say it, guys. So it's crunch time. Let's just say that the purpose of this video is to tell you it is crunch time, guys. Get your money out of the banks. Get into gold and silver. Invest in yourself by investing in a self-sustainable garden, so you don't have to rely on the grocery stores. And get prepared, guys, because I think this computer model might be correct in what it's seeing that's coming down the pike for as early as potentially next year. So I just wanted to bring all of that to your attention, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you do appreciate my efforts to bring you this info, don't forget to check me out at pressfortruth.ca/donate. You can check that top link in the description below of whatever video platform you happen to be watching this on. So just wanted to bring that to your attention, guys. Thank you so much once again for watching. Please click the thumbs up button. Share this video with your friends and family who you think need to see it the most. And stay tuned, guys. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dicks reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.